once people have a certain amount of Bitcoin, they say, hey, what happens if my house burns down? Now I have a certain amount that I feel is a lot, and I want to be on the safe side because I'm happy with my hardware wallet. It's all in my custody. But what happens if there's a flood, if there's an earthquake, if there's a house fire, some kind of catastrophe? How do I get to my Bitcoin? And that's where that seed backup storage comes into place and saying, hey, this is your backup, your 24 words. You can recover your wallet anywhere, anytime with those words. So these need to be safe in case something happens. So this is really on the levels of being your own bank. This is most likely the highest level where people say, hey, wow, I just want to be on the safe side here.
Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I am privileged to be joined by Christine Lagarde, the leader of the EU banking syndicate.
Yeah, perfect. Nice to be here.
Christine, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Love being here. Thank you so much, Ricardo.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness, I'm here with Jonathon, the founder of PLEB STYLE. PLEB STYLE is a seed storage solution, and I'm really excited to have him on the show. We had a lot of fun together at Plan B Lugano, and Jonathon was kind enough to come on the show. Jonathon, how are you today?
I'm very good. Cannot complain. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. No complaints here either. So, Jonathon, for those that are not aware, what is PLEB STYLE? Tell them all about what it is and how users can benefit from employing PLEB STYLE as a solution.
Well, PLEB STYLE is the company name, and our main product is the Titan wallet right here. So, not sure if it can be seen. Like you said, it's a seed storage solution, and it looks like this. So it's fairly simple. It's silver. What we wanted to do and why I founded PLEB STYLE was I figured out that there are so many solutions out there already, but I thought I can make it even safer than those that are already existing. And why was I thinking that? I thought so because I'm a mechanical engineer and I know a little bit about material science. And I said, well, I don't need to trust any marketing promise that any vendor is doing. I can just look up what kind of steel they're using because it's all standardized. You don't invent your own steel. That would be horribly expensive. There's about 2,500 different standardized steels. And I said, hell, I'm an engineer. I'm used, to opening the catalog, looking into this and saying, hey, what kind of characteristics do I need? And what would be most suitable for a storage solution, a seed storage solution? So I came up with a material mix at the end, to make a long story short, which consists of titanium alloyed stainless steel and also titanium grade 5. So it's a mix between stainless steel and also components that are made of high-grade titanium to be extra safe in the case of house fires, especially house fires. Whenever you have heat, that's energy that can destroy. You have force, mechanical force. If you have an extreme case and your house is really burning down and force can destroy its energy, both at the same time can be really difficult. So I always thought a backup is your last lifeline. It's your anchor. It has to survive. It is your backup. There's nothing else behind the backup. There's no backup. So I said, this has to be the safest solution. And this is how I entered the market at the end. Yeah.
Amazing. So I guess, why does this choice of steel make PLEB STYLE like a superior solution to existing alternatives that are out in the market right now?
Why is that? I mean, the reason is the titanium alloy. So the addition of titanium in the stainless steel that I have gives the material a certain characteristic, and it's called heat resistance. So it doesn't get as soft when you heat it up. The thing is, there's also titanium grade 5 in there, but softness and hardness is not the correct word for any engineer out there. It's usually yield strength, just for the record. But let's talk hard and soft because that's easier to understand for the average folks. So in order to stamp something in, because my set, you have a hammer, you stamp it in. You need to do it yourself. Bitcoin is self-responsibility, so you don't give your keys away. So it has to have a certain softness for you to punch it in. So that's why everybody's using a certain type of stainless steel or a certain type of titanium. So it's 304, 316, titanium grade 2, for those who are interested in the details. And I use 316 Ti. So it is still on the same softness level. But the thing is, with the heat resistance, as it gets hotter and hotter, steel also gets softer and softer. So you could imagine it like a candle. Well, a candle is a little bit over-exaggerated. But also with heat, it gets softer and softer. And at one point, it melts. But before melting, it's really soft. A frozen candle is really hard. You can hurt somebody with it. If it's burning, it's if it's burning, it's burning. It's starting to melt at the top, and the wax burns. So yeah, something similar with a very different and bigger scale happens with steel and all kinds of metals. So I said, I don't want to be as soft. I want a material that has the characteristic of staying hard, or as hard as possible, when it's in heat. Do you say that? No.
When it's being heated up, I would say.
When it's being heated up, yeah, like, you know, like in a house fire, etc. Yeah.
And
so this is, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, have you like actually run tests? Like, have you like put a pleb style seed saver in like a fire?
Yes, we actually did. We did. So you see the after. This is the before. So
oh wow! Okay.
We had this at about 1,200 degrees Celsius in a fire barrel, basically all night, just to check out what it looks like, what it will be. So what you can really see here is, it's not sure if you can see that in the picture, but it survived quite well.
I can kind of see it a little bit. Yeah.
But you could also see this is titanium and this is stainless steel. So from the coloring, when it's heated, you can see the difference. But if you just look at it, it's all silver for the layman, also for the expert, because you need to check what kind of material it is by not just looking at it, but doing experiments or getting the certificates from the foundries, etc. That you have the standardized steel that you would like to have. Also, what I would like to add is, like I said, all these things are standardized. So basically what I've proven here is, I've proven here that the current science is correct, which I assume would be correct, because this has been tested over and over. It's a pure material test, and they've been done for decades. All these materials are not just invented a couple of years or 10 or 20 years ago. Those have quite some history. And this is the only way you can make a scientific catalog saying, hey, this is what they can do, what they cannot do. There's numerous indicators depending on what need you have. And so basically what I was doing with the test is, well, yeah, it came out what was supposed to come out. And I'm just proving that the current science is correct, which I was believing in the first place because the amount of tests is high enough.
Okay. Thank you. That makes total sense. Can you show us like how the device works? Like, can you open it and kind of show us like what's included in the device itself?
What's included in the device itself? So we have two things. We just have the device, and we also have a starter kit. So what you have here is, well, you can just, oh, if you can see it. Yeah, you can just open it up like this. So you can open it from two sides, and then you have 30 seed discs in here, plus those two titanium grade 5 discs. They're only there for protection. The titanium is about 4 times as hard. It's, you know, from what we see here, it just looks like a regular disc, but it's actually 4 times as strong. So it gives extra protection also on the inside and the nut. And there's also a short statement written on there. It says stop titanium grade 5. Not sure if you can see that. So you don't stamp on these. Like I said, they're 4 times as hard. If you stamp those, you will destroy your stamps. I think we're the pretty only company that uses grade 5, because we don't stamp into these things. I mean, usually another grade like 2 is used for titanium wallets, but this one is impossible to stamp with the regular stamps. Plus, you have to hit it at least 4 times as hard, which is quite impossible for most people. Yeah, then you got all your 30 discs in there. The biggest seed phrase, mnemonic seed phrase you have is 24 words, so you have still 6 to make some mistakes when stamping. So that would be the backup itself. We also have all kinds of stuff. We have a striking aid where you can put your stamp in. On the bottom, you put your seed disc in. There's also a description on the website, a video how to do that. It's rather easy. And yeah, we have a striking pad, a pretty big one actually. So this one is, so we have something that's really thick.
Okay.
So it doesn't bounce off, because all the energy, your force has to go into the stamp and the disc. So you don't want it to, vibrate or anything. You just want it to, the force hit directly into the material, that you don't have to hit it as hard, and not everything is jumping around if you hit it too hard, because that sometimes happens if you have a very thin or not as heavy striking pad. It may jump around, and this is not the best for the force and for doing it. Yeah, of course we got all the stamps. So we got these kind of things. So this is the numbers. We have the same for the letters, because you need to stamp in all the letters and numbers. And for the numbers, some people say, why do you have the numbers? I say, well, if this opens up and you mess up the sequence, especially of 24 words, you don't know the sequence of your 24 words, you don't own any Bitcoin anymore. Or, well, you don't have any access, because you will not be able to brute force the sequence. This is currently impossible.
Yeah, so the numbers help you keep track of which word goes where in the seed phrase itself.
Right, exactly. So we have, yeah.
And for people that have never used a seed saving device like this, like, explain the basic idea so that people know how they would benefit from one of these.
Well, this is a product for self-custody. So if you want to keep your Bitcoin for yourself, if you want to be your own bank, as it's always said, and like I said, Bitcoin is self-responsibility. You are your own bank. You are responsible for your security. So your head of security is not somewhere in the bank where you can call them and say, hey, what are you doing? How are things secure? Please reset my password. That doesn't work, because all of those functions are yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get your Bitcoin off the exchange and hold them yourself, you usually, this is what I always recommend, use a hardware wallet. So you have it in cold storage. That at the end, well, you are not vulnerable. It's not online, so all the online attackers, etc., are already locked out. And what usually happens, once people have a certain amount of Bitcoin, they say, hey, what happens if my house burns down? Now I have a certain amount that I feel is a lot, and I want to be on the safe side, because I'm happy with my hardware wallet. It's all in my custody. But what happens if there's a flood, if there's an earthquake, if there's a house fire, some kind of catastrophe? How do I get to my Bitcoin? And that's where that seed backup storage comes into place, and saying, hey, this is your backup, your 24 words. You can recover your wallet anywhere, anytime with those words. So these need to be safe in case something happens. So this is really on the levels of being your own bank. This is most likely the highest level where people say, hey, wow, I just want to be on the safe side here.
Okay. So like, it's basically the equivalent of like a vault, I guess, for self-custody.
Yeah, it's like a mini safe or a mini vault where you keep your mnemonic seed phrase. Yeah.
And what you do is you just pound each letter of each word of the seed phrase into a different disk with a number sequence, and that's how you would safeguard your private key in a worst case scenario, I guess.
Exactly. In the BIP 39 standard, there's maximum 8 letters. We recommend to do all 8 letters, so we have enough space for all 8 letters and 2 digits for the number. So you have a very good space usage. So it's as small as it can be. but still use as much surface as possible, which is also some kind of security characteristic, just in case something really big happens. Like I said, we want to be the most secure, and we would love to have. We don't want you to donate your Bitcoin to everybody. It's yours, and you should keep it, especially once you're in self-custody.
Okay, cool. And like, would you say that the majority of people that are looking towards pleb style for like this kind of solution are individuals, or are you also seeing like institutional clients like looking for a way to like safeguard large amounts of Bitcoin?
It's more the plebs than companies, actually, than businesses. I mean, the company is called pleb style, so it's from plebs for plebs, to give you the best value for your money at the end, and a product that is absolutely secure. So you can feel and you are safe. You don't just feel safe; you are safe with this. It's mostly B2C, so business to customers.
Okay, cool. And if somebody wanted to order a pleb style, how could they get their hands on one?
Well, they just go to pleb.style and they can order one. We offer worldwide shipping. We are located in Europe, Germany, to be precise. So if you want to ship across the sea, you might just want to send me a message. We don't do that much business overseas. The reason why I'm telling you, just drop me a message, is because the shipping costs are really, really expensive. And if we know exactly what you're getting, what the weight is, we can also optimize that. So absolutely no problem. Or if there's some reseller around, we're still looking for someone across the ocean.
Nice. Well, anybody that's interested, reach out to Jonathon here. Jonathon, so I ran into you at Lugano's Plan B, and you famously had on the Christine Lagarde mask, which you debuted at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, you were walking around the conference with the Christine Lagarde mask, giving out Bitcoin-themed Euro bills, which you also showed at the beginning of the interview. You kind of stood out, I would say. You were the only person there with a Christine Lagarde mask and handing out Bitcoin euros. How was the response to that campaign at the conference?
Well, it was amazing. I mean, of course, not people want to be Christine Lagarde in the Bitcoin and crypto space for obvious reasons. She controls the money printer in Europe. But in order to just show that to people in a fun way, I was wearing the mask, handing out these little 21 Bitcoin bills. And it was fun because it turned out to be a little bit of a social experiment, because I started liking it, having fun. People were just loving it and walking to me and saying, "Hey, Christine, can I have one too? I want one of those bills." And I noticed how easy you can become friends with people when you just throw money at them. So everybody was my friend suddenly, and then I started playing around. Then there was another guy coming saying, "Hey, can I please also have one?" I said, "No, you're not my friend. Only for my friends." And then I started giving the others more, and everybody was laughing at that dude, like, he's not getting any. So this is a little bit how I imagined the Cantillon effect is working. Like, all your buddy's best friends get something, and you have the ultimate power. And if you say, "Hey, you're not my friend, you're not getting any," suddenly, that guy got ridiculed, like, you're not getting any, by all the others. So it was fairly interesting, playing around a little bit. Of course, I gave them 2, 3 at the end. Everybody got one. I'm not Christine. I'm not a bad person. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say that point about the Cantillon effect is easy to drive home to Bitcoiners who are aware of like how the monetary system works in traditional finance. I would say outside of like a Bitcoiner based audience, that might be a little more of an obscure fact and people might not make the connection. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lugano Plan B was around Halloween sometime. And, that's why I said, yeah, this is scary. And Bitcoiners told me, that's scary, that's scary. Walking around with this here back in Germany with all the normies around, they don't even know who that is. Like, who's that? I don't know that person. Who's that? Christine Lagarde. okay, who's that Christine person? So people are not even aware of that.
So you're based in Berlin. Like, what kind of insights can you give us into the Berlin, or I guess German, I should say, Bitcoin scene?
Well, I'm based in Karlsruhe, so that's southwest actually.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, but Germany is a small country. About Germany has an amazing community. So it's really big. They're very well connected. So there's meetups everywhere. So wherever I go, there's usually a meetup that takes place on a monthly basis. There's lots of Bitcoin content. There's the 21 or 21. That's 21 is the German word for 21. There's the 21 community in Germany. And one of their successes was, building up all these meetups out of nowhere and connecting people in the Bitcoin space. So it's really, really interesting how well Germans or German speakers are connected. And once you move a little bit further, I was in France 1.5 weeks ago in Annecy, which is right across the border from Switzerland, close to Geneva.
Okay.
There's also a big community, but you can I was the German at that conference. Very small conference, but I was the German because there was nobody else from Germany there. And I can also see the French are getting more and more connected. They're not as well connected as the Germans, but then if you look on it more from a European view, you see, well, we're not that well connected. So you see people working on similar things. And that's a little bit sad to see, but I think this is just a matter of time once we break the language barriers and we start working together. I mean, my French is horrible. So I had a hard time, keeping up and listening, and most talks I didn't even understand. Most of it, just from context, I got all the clues. But and I think there's so much more potential, especially with open source and so on, in the community when we just break down these language barriers or these German, French. I don't know about the Spanish community. I'm sure there's a huge one, or Italian. There were so many Italians in Lugano that we should get better connected.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it could only help. With Germany specifically, like the Bitcoin community there got started pretty early on. I remember a few years back, there was like Room 77, which was like the first bar which accepted Bitcoin payments for drinks and food and stuff like that. And then there's always been like a strong meetup culture as far as Bitcoin meetups in Germany.
Absolutely.
And then there was the Lightning conference, like the Lightning developer conference that took place a few years back. Right. Why do you think Germany was like such an early adopter to Bitcoin?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Why Germany is such an early adopter? I mean, it's not a small country. I mean, it's first of all, it's a big country, and I think we're one of the countries that runs the most Bitcoin nodes, at least on the ClearNet, where you can see them. But I cannot really pinpoint to say this is the reason why Germany is so early. I think people, especially during COVID, started to understand that something is not right, something is not going on, and people were sent home and had some time, and had the time questioning everything. And I think this is how many of them, especially around the 2000s or 2020, 2021 era, got into Bitcoin. So I think there's a huge amount of people that flushed in from that. But I don't know. Maybe people are not happy with how things are going, and starting and with inflation. I mean, we have one. I'm not sure if we are one of the countries with the highest tax burden. So people need to. I mean, we have high taxation, we have high inflation. So people need to figure out where to put the money. And Germany is not a poor country; it's a rich country. So most people, or some people, have money to put somewhere. Yeah. So you cannot put it on your saving accounts because then inflation will eat it all up. So you're forced to invest somehow. And I think people, start to understand or looking into alternatives for investing, hedge against inflation. And I think Bitcoin is the very best hedge against inflation there is. So to me, it's the best asset.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that being the use case that people have flocked to for sure. With the German speaking Bitcoin community, I know there's also pretty significant communities in both Switzerland and Austria. Is there any overlap between the communities in each country, like as far as ideas getting shared and things of that nature?
I think there's the 21 community is really from the we say sometimes the chat area, CH for Switzerland, A for Austria, D Deutschland, Germany. Since we share a common language, we are very well connected, especially with the 21 community. It exists pretty much anywhere, or even without it. I mean, you just get connected. I mean, sharing the same language works quite well. I am in Switzerland quite often because it's not too far away from where I live. 2-hour drive. I'm in Switzerland. Okay. And I mean, I understand the language, even though if they speak Swiss German, I need to concentrate real hard. But it's, you can still understand each other. They talk Swiss German, I talk regular German, and we can understand each other. And I think there's lots of events going on in Switzerland right now. Also with Austria, we used to have the BTC in Innsbruck last year. This year in Vienna, it unfortunately didn't take place. But I'm hoping next year that it will be big enough again, that they will have enough sponsors to get it going in Vienna. And, for Bitcoiners in Germany, well, okay, it's Austria, it's Vienna. I mean, who cares? Let's go there. It's a German-speaking Bitcoin conference. It's one of the biggest we have in the German-speaking world. So it doesn't really matter where it is. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that for sure. As far as PLEB Style goes, like we're coming to a close. We're in November 2024, so the year's almost over. What do you guys have on the roadmap for 2025? What can people expect from PLEB Style?
Well, there's something that's been quite a while on the roadmap. That took way too long. Like usually, if you develop something, you underestimate the effort. And I'm currently working with one developer on an open source project. But I don't want to say too much about it. Of course, it will be in the field of security, self-custody security. It will be something totally different from a steel wallet. That's why the company is called PLEB Style, not just Titan wallet. Because we would like to do some more. We also, by the way, we sell lots of BitAccess, awesome open source project. I mean, it's not your security, but secure in the network with your hash rate. So it fits in the entire concept. And this is currently what realistically will be out 2025, beginning 2025, if not even at the end of the year with an MVP or something. Yeah. Okay. But it will be complete open source and it will be standard hardware. But I don't want to talk about it yet because I just want to be, I just want to get it out and get feedback right away from people.
Fair enough. So you guys sell the Titan wallet device, and you also sell BitAccess. Are there any other products that are available in the PLEB Style store?
We do have some additional stuff, some smaller things like tamper-evident bags, or we have a low-budget version of the Titan wallet. It's called the Terra Steel. This is made of, well, the regular steel or the good regular steel that everybody else is using in the steel backup industry. It's the so-called 316 steel. So this is our low-budget version. So there's no fancy packaging or anything. It's really, just show people that it's not that expensive if you use the standard stuff. It gets more expensive if you use specialized material.
Okay. And for people out there that are considering purchasing a seed saving solution like this, at what point of Bitcoin ownership would you suggest to start looking into one of these solutions to kind of safeguard yourself from losing funds?
There's no fixed amount. It's really that's what I tell people. I mean, for some people, 5,000 is a lot. For others, 10. For others, 100,000. So it really depends on how secure do you feel when losing it. So what's a lot to you? So as I tell people, you need to take self-responsibility in order to be your own bank. And what we currently see is with the price increase that it's, there's all-time high after all-time high right now. People start thinking about these questions. Am I secured enough? What happens if? So we can also see that in our sales. That's quite interesting, honestly.
Yeah, I bet this has been like a nice boom for you, considering that Bitcoin's at all-time highs right now.
Right, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome. Jonathon, thank you so much for coming on the interview. It was a pleasure having you on the show and talking to you about safeguarding your Bitcoin private keys.
Perfect. Ricardo, it was I had a great time, and it was amazing meeting you in Lugano. And yeah, I will do this anytime. That was lots of fun.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back at some point in the future to do a follow-up.